So we were exactly at the pterodactyl, pecking the pumpkin. We're all good. We're all back. We're just gonna pick up from where we are. Zerg.
Zerg. I'm gonna grapple the big boy.
Okay.
He refuses to surrender.
Why would he
That's
surrender?
athletics, yeah?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
athletics.
The big boy is unmovable.
With the 20?
20 is not gonna do it.
Well, then I'll hero point it and throw it again.
For the future, we got a hero point before we see
Damn
if
it,
it
never
works. But yeah, well, the roll 20 is also teaching this lesson. It's a little lower. So you reach out, you try to grab a hold of him, and out as he shouts, like the sheer force of this is almost throwing you off balance. And you just kind of swipe at him.
Is he tall? How tall is he?
It's probably about as tall as your gorilla form. He's about 6'10", probably. He's pretty lofty, massive frog.
So almost as tall as you, Squid.
Almost as tall as me.
Jesus.
I'm gonna
It's the
uppercut him
same
in the
condition,
jaw.
too, because if he stood up straight, he'd be like a foot taller.
Yeah, that's a nice long neck with a nice overhanging jaw that I'm gonna uppercut into with a 14.
As you try to get your footing here, swinging at Kanta, this shout is really throwing you off balance.
I'm gonna get some damage in. Let's go for one last attempt at a -8.
-8, yep. Hands. The Zerg is just swinging wildly over here. Selwyn.
I'm a monkey. I'm angry.
He's very, very angry monkey. You muted or thinking?
No, I'm thinking.
Okay.
I want to hold until after school concept.
Okay. So then, Lizard Man, I need you to make me a death save.
Okie dokie. Let's see here. 18.
With an 18, that will bring you up to stable. Just leaving you a wounded 1. And Skull, as he cries, a wicked grin crossing his face, realizing that Zerg can't seem to touch him. He turns around and throws a hand down towards Lizard Man. Mortum Theloneo! And you see energy flow out of Lizard Man's dying body into Kanta.
What?
Lizard Man, make me a will save.
I don't have any will. Alright, 22. I apparently have more will than I thought. 22.
You die.
Pardon?
As Kanta absorbs the ebbing life energy flowing out of Lizard Man into himself, and you see him swell further, some of his wounds even closing. And turns back around. You are powerless! Swinging wide with his warhammer towards Zerg for a 15.
I duck.
Selwyn.
That's unfortunate. Well, don't want to step on any dead bodies, but I'll move up and strike twice. On the first, for 29 on his flat-footed.
29 on his flat-footed is actually immediately going to critically hit.
For 26, as
Selwyn is
in
mad.
fury, stab him in the back. And for another, if roll 20 will stop lacking, for a hot 20, another crit.
You crit him again.
Stab him twice for another 22.
And with these two stabs, precise back to back, you see Kanta falter a bit, his hammer having swung wide from Zerg. And he calls out, again, only Selwyn can understand this. You only bring more souls for the gluttonous dark! Turning around to face
Go
you.
fuck yourself.
Ara.
Oh, you're muted.
I realized. Aura falls completely silent, other than just pronouncing spell incantations, and throws more fire at Kanta. For a
Oh my god.
Natural
What is
20.
natural 24 max,
Max damage now.
Natural
Max
20,
damage.
double 4s on the d4s.
and then
We know what it
2d4
takes to
persistent
draw
fire
out the
damage.
rage of the party. 28 fire damage into Kanta. This blast in his back almost knocking him down.
And he has 2d4 persistent damage, fire damage. And then I sustain the Leshy. And the Leshy's gonna throw sea pods at him.
Oh, let the Leshy fucking finish this.
Little pumpkin.
What great injustice.
First one, it's a 16.
16's gonna miss probably because he almost got knocked flat by all the damage he just took in 1 second.
The second one, that was a hell of a roll for a 25 minus 5, I believe.
20 is just gonna miss, glancing off of the scale mill.
Okay.
Arabis.
I want to come up the stairs. I get to like 2, 3, to like here. 4, 2, 3, 4. Could I? All right. Looking at the combat that's happened here, can I tell?
Lizardman is definitely down, and he looks broken, like a bag of scales, where he's been smashed so hard by his hammer. Pretty large amount of blood seeping out of the stone. And from where you were, you couldn't really see the spell cast, so you can't really tell immediately he's dead or unconscious.
Well, I do see the threat is still up, and I see Lizardman down. And I just like shake my head a little bit. And now you die. And I hold out my hand to the Trog, and I electric arc him.
You can electric arc the pterodactyl too. They are 30 feet away.
Perfect. I thought he was beyond 30. That's why I didn't say it.
Exactly 30. So almost one-off max damage roll. Kanta. Gonna get a 22 on his reflex save.
Yikes.
Pterodactyl a 16. But still, even with a failure, even taking the half, the 5, the twin stabs from Selwyn, the fire from Ara, and the blast of lightning from Arabis as Zerg flails his fucking monkey fists into Kanta. I'm going to reduce him to a smoldering mound on the ground. The pterodactyl takes one last peck at this stupid pumpkin for a 20.
It hits.
He's gonna hit you for 11 damage.
The pumpkin dies.
And having squashed, how long does the vines last? 1 round, is that?
It was 1 round, and the
Okay.
pumpkin actually explodes into a bunch of gourds, and he heals me.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. When the pumpkin dies, he verdant blasts, bursts into a bunch of gourds, and I heal because I'm a plant.
Okay. Well, I guess doing you a favor by popping this pumpkin. And
Yeah, I helped
sowing
roll
life
1d8.
on the top of this tower. With a last cry, the pterodactyl takes off, runs, and flaps off the eastern side of the building. With its damaged wing, you see it struggle to kind of stay in the air, losing a lot of height, as all it can really do is just glide downwards off into the distance, below the visible level of the top of the tower. And with that, the demons having left, and the trogs slain, it falls silent but for the sounds of nature around the tower.
And Zerg screaming and crying, and the sound of fists hitting the stone through this dead motherfucker's flesh and bone. Just
All
wet,
right.
pounding and screaming as
Walk
Monkey
over
Man
to
turns
Lizard.
orc.
I'll walk over to Lizard and just start casting first level heal spells on him until I can't
Oh.
cast anymore.
I'm dropping my swords and I'm falling on my knees next to them.
You all realize pretty quickly between your medicine and your magic that Lizard Man appears to actually be well and truly dead.
Hit world.
Oh, because he can't be dead because I need him.
Well, that's real shame, isn't it?
I'm gonna back up and I'm gonna stare at the sky.
As you look out, you can see the Aeon Orb, the white sphere, just slowly, lazily drifting around the tower. Doesn't react, it doesn't know what's happened. As you see it, kind of drifting by 30 feet out from the ledge, it almost starts to glow a little bit brighter. And as it does, the four of you standing here on the rooftop can each see that you share this emanation. This pale white light. Theoretically, which should be utterly invisible in the bright morning sun streaming down, glowing out, giving each of you an ethereal aura, an outline, almost. And as it overcomes you, Zerg and Ara, you feel your wounds pull themselves closed as some kind of healing force takes hold of you. A wave of positive energy flowing through your body. And for a moment, you all see almost a vision, a flicker, of this tower rising not from a forest, but from barren stone, wet still from the ocean's sea, or the ocean's sprays. And life erupting outward from this orb to seed it. This energy now somehow seems to be reflected inside each of you. And Arbus, Zerg, Ara, each of you can tap into this power once a day as 2 actions to grant yourself fast healing 3 for 1 minute, which means you will heal 3 health at the start of every one of your turns for 10 turns. And in addition, even mundane rest and treatment will be twice as effective on you. You'll gain double your level times your con mod when you rest at night, instead of your level times your con mod. This artifact seems to, at some level, almost recognize what has happened here, and has instilled a reflection of its power into you. lizard man still appears to just lay broken on the floor.
Screw that. I don't even care. I'm gonna hold up my hand to the sky and hold up my other hand to his body, and I'm gonna cast my strongest healing. I don't care. The Storm Lord is here. He is watching me. I'm gonna try the second level healing.
As you pull together the strongest magic that you have through, it just fades into nothingness. Even your healing, the best you have, can't bring back the dead.
Zerg's gonna pick up what's left of Lizard Man and just start walking into the stairs.
As you carry him over to the stairway, Arbus, I imagine, following, kind of realizing what's happened here. Selwyn, you don't feel this energy. You don't feel this resonant reflection. You don't feel anything really come through.
I feel like shit.
But you hear a voice in your head. A gasp. Yes! This is exactly what I knew we were capable of. Selwyn, my love, in mere minutes. Oh. Can you even imagine what we can accomplish together? Sorry about your friend, by the way.
Yeah, ain't great, is it? Well, I'm glad you're happy.
Kanta, that idiot, he was sent here from Moonstone Hall. If they're on the track of the source of this power, more of this font. They have a traveling circus, right? Follow them. Head to Escador. Oh, this is only the beginning, my love. And you feel a different power. Bolstered by some of Tilvy's demonic strength. You feel a good bit more capable, Selwyn. But if anything, this is the opposite of a reflection of life here.
Slytherin's very sad that she took a deal with a demon and it didn't save her friends.
So, if you're not naturally inclined to follow Tilvy's instruction here, I am going to need you to make a will save.
No, we're planning to do that anyway.
So the group of you head back downstairs, down this massive spiral, I imagine, largely in silence. It's gonna take you like 10, 15 minutes just to get your way out of here. Zerg carrying the body of Lizard Man the whole way. As you reach the landing, outside the tower, where you'd fought its first guardians with those gargoyles. Just heading home.
I think Lizard Man wanted to be buried with the circus, or at least have a service there.
His name was Drazik.
Sorry?
His name was Drazik.
And yet we knew him by Lizard.
We didn't want to be associated with his past.
So let him be associated with his present, or what the one that was.
The Lizard Man.
It's a Lizard Man. Right, we should get wasted tonight in his honor. Have a big party. Celebrate his life.
It is going to take you most of the rest of the day to make the long walk back to the outskirts of Aberton and back to the Circus of Wayward Wonders campgrounds to return, well, the closest thing Lizardman really did have to a home. And when you arrive, pretty immediately apparent that's, I mean, you've come back here how many times beaten within an inch of your life, half dead, desperately wounded, but never quite like this. Professor immediately comes to the group of you, coming in from the far side, from the northeast. And looks down at Lizardman, looks across the group of you, looks up at Zerg carrying him. Speechless for a moment, just in disbelief.
Yeah.
What?
We feel the same way.
Well, you had gone to the tower for Reginald, right? For the druids to help them.
And we succeeded. Just not without great cost.
Well, and as far as I can understand, what admittedly little I know of this situation, he's given his life for a much higher cause than any of us have ever dreamed of serving.
Yeah, well, fuck higher causes, and fuck whatever led us to here.
Well, fuck the gods indeed, but damned if I'm not going to find some small amount of solace in this.
Maybe Reginald and myself combined could bring him back. I don't.
What
I
about
don't know.
the cleric, the Abadoran priest in town? That's a healing church, is it not?
It is, but the mere cost of resurrecting someone is probably too. I mean, could ask, of course.
As soon as the professor says something, Gar is going to start making his way towards town.
I don't think we should implant false hope.
I
think this is the same situation as it was with Thunder.
No, this is fair, but damn it. After everything you'd accomplished, I'd hoped. Saying goodbye to the closest thing I'd had to a brother was gonna be the last of it. We formed the whole circus of wayward wonders to escape this. To get away from the menagerie and the death. The
All we did
disappearances.
is it's a different sort of death. This, at least, it was for a noble cause and not just from someone falling off the tightrope at an inopportune moment. Although I don't agree with the gods, I don't care for him. I don't care about any of this. Honestly, it's still better justification.
If we weren't already planning on heading out of Aberdeen, it's the lack of coin, we certainly need to get the hell out of here due to this, well, whatever the hell seems to be wrong with the town. No, the amount of... I don't want to think any more on it, not now. Let's first Thunder, now Lizard Man, and I'll have to say the same now as I did then. But fortunately, we're in much better economic straits. The show must go on, after all.
One last time.
Well, I've given
Listen
some
anyway.
thought, perhaps, to nearby towns we could tend to. Plotted out a possible route for us.
Well, I'd like to go fuck with the Celestial Menagerie. It's what Lizard would have wanted.
I'm sorry, this must... we all deal with grief differently, Selwyn, but that's... Frankly, that's ridiculous. At this point, some of the, much like when Thunder had died before your opening night, most of the circus have noticed and are gathering around.
Zerg has carried Lizard's body over to the cart and is resting Lizard's head, or what's left of it, I suppose, on one of those fancy pillows from that room that Zerg grabbed on the way down
Oh, man.
and covers him with a sheet and fucks off somewhere else.
And as you were over there covering him as you're dealing with it, she doesn't make any attempt to intervene, of course, but Ulva, as much as everyone else, is seeing your return and standing a fair distance away, maybe 10 feet back. Doesn't say anything, doesn't move to stop you, of course. Understanding this grief, just watches, and sort of hangs her head a bit. And back at the camp, the professor. So
Actually, sorry,
Oh.
can I
does
interject
this
just very quickly?
change your?
No. So nothing. The only difference being before Zerg leaves, he's just gonna get just a little, just like maybe a little vial or whatever I've got in my bandolier of just some of Lizard's blood, just a little bit, and then I fuck off.
So back at the group, as a couple have trickled off to watch you carry Lizard Man to the cart, but some have gathered around the professor. A lot of the bigger ones, the Flambonis, the Camboni family, Tulip, Cubby, are all just kind of around as you guys talk. You can't certainly mean to attempt to intrude on the Celestial Menageries territory so soon. We've had 2 shows.
Yeah, and we're pretty good at it.
And Tulip kind
We
of steps
could
forward.
keep going for small game.
Look.
We could.
Selwyn, honey, I get we all got big dreams, but you, as much as the rest of us, we put this show together to get away from Escadar and the Celestial Menagerie and Mistress Dusklight. You see what she does to people who are useful to her. I can't imagine how she'd react to us stepping forward as competition.
Something else is gonna be fun. I give a grim smile.
She kind of looks over at the professor, and everyone present sort of looks across each other, and Cubby speaks up. Are you fucking with me?
You're such a good dog, Covey. What's up?
Fuck you. Are you fucking with me? You're gonna take us after the success we found straight back to get bent over by a cat folk? You know I hate cats for a
Right,
huge
we're,
variety of reasons.
We're gonna bend over to cat folk.
Professor,
I'm obviously not making this move self-contained, and I won't do it without support. I'm not a dictator.
he puts a hand on Tulip's shoulder and nods to her. Well, Selwyn, I trusted you enough to give you the title of Ringmaster after Myron's death, and after everything you personally have done for us. No one's more in the right to make this decision than you. I mean, he puts his hands up and turns to everyone present. She's not wrong. We blew their damn socks off a few weeks ago. Imagine the look on Mistress Dusklight's stupid face if we stride back into Escadar and upstage her on her home turf. They all kind of share some looks. No one seems super confident. But Yagi, leader of the dwarves, steps forward. Oh, I think it'd be fucking hilarious. Let's do it.
And I step on a soapbox because I'm so short.
Absolutely.
And I'd get up, speak out, pull out a little flask of liquor. We've all been fucked over by Mistress Duskwood in the past. Each and every one of us. It's why we're together. Today, we lost one of our own. We go to the island not just to fuck with Mistress Duskwood, but to settle some unfinished business on Lizard's behalf. They took one of ours, but we'll take one of theirs. And honestly, Lizard would have wanted us to fuck with Mistress Duskwood more than any of us. I say we go there. And if you're not willing to go, that's fine. That's disappointing, but I suppose I joined up with a bunch of cowards after all. And I would like to...
And one of the little Griggs, Marina, the female, kind of flies up around you, and her voice for her tiny little form came out of the crowd. I don't know who the fuck Mistress Dustlight is, but kind of put on a show, didn't we?
Yeah, fuck her. And obviously we're better than them, right? We're not shit. We're not pathetic pieces of, well, catfolk garbage. We treat our performance well. We treat our people well.
And Colby calls out, I do fucking hate cats. Standing up and talking don't make them no different. I stand up and talk.
Such a good boy.
You want to roll for me here?
I would like to, yes. We're 28.
You get a cry out from those assembled around as between Lizard Man and your explanation, everyone kind of comes around to the idea of sticking it to Mistress Dusklight rather than living in constant fear. Besides, it's been a year of setup, and even more than that now since your first show. Since any of you have been to Escadar, this professor steps forward. You heard the ringmaster. Pack up the wagons. Prepare yourselves for travel. We hit the road. I have quite a journey ahead of us, so if there's any supplies we last need in Aberton, I suggest you gather them. We're crossing the whole of the Isle of Arran. Far out to the west, to Mistress Dusklight's shitty doorstep. I'm gonna piss right in her litter box and show her what we're made of, aye? And again, the crowd, circus folk assembled around, cries out again in support. And once more, Professor puts his hands up. For Myron, old ringmaster! And he looks to you, Selwyn.
For Lizard, our old rigger. Tonight, we drink in honor of their memories, and tomorrow we'll start packing.
So inspired. The rest of the evening is spent much like it was after the circus grounds have been secured and the Lake of Thunder's death. Drinking, sharing stories with all but Zerg.
Ara disappears too.
I also would eventually disappear.
Same.
Well, most of, I guess it's the rest
I
of
would
the...
probably stay a lot longer than the rest because
Yeah.
I have appearances to keep.
The rest of the group, the rest of your circus, your co-performers, sticking around to drink and revel somewhat in his memory, but each of you dipping out as the sun sets and the night goes on. The more in your own ways.
Take my wolves out and we would howl at the moon. So the wee
Zerg.
hour.
Ara does
Okay.
go back. Ara goes back to his wagon and gets a little intricately carved Firebird. He knows he's seen the image before, and he's carved when he takes it to Lizard and places it on his body. And just walks away, doesn't say anything.
At some point during the evening, when no one's looking, I would like to grab several small vials of Lizard's blood, similar to how Cirque did.
Are we all taking Lizard's blood? Alright. So, Zerg, where are you headed? What are you headed off to do, or is this something you don't want everyone to know, something you want to keep to yourself. You definitely don't have to share.
For now, Zerg is gone. No idea where he's gone. I know where he's gone. Y'all don't know.
Of course. And with that, with one more loss before this chapter could really be brought to a close, we end the first book of the Extinction Curse. The show must go on. And we head next week further into new territory here with book 2.
Oh, there she is, that fucking once
The
in Hollywood.
Legacy of the Lost God. As we head back into Escadar, right to the doorstep of Mistress Dusklight, the leader of the Celestial Menagerie, who you'd all be far too familiar with. But in search of a different goal, at least for some of you. For now, I believe only Selwyn and Aura, if you read through the notepad, only, right? You did read through it, or just look at it, saw it looked interesting, and brought it back?
I looked through it and I read it, and then I took it to Selwyn.
So only Selwyn and Aura for the moment knowing about Moonstone Hall, where the Trogs had come from, and only the faintest inkling of what secrets may lie within. But honestly, I am perfectly fine stopping this episode right here.
I think it's hard to start anything
Because
new.
it is
from here on,
difficult
right?
to continue here. I've spent the last 20 minutes. Oh my god! It literally is actually trying to not actively cry, narrating
Seriously?
that. That was legitimately difficult.
I am very sad, unironically.
No,
Like,
I'm not
fucking
kidding.
bummed out.
That was actually really hard for me to tell. But
Definitely was a hell of a spell.
I'll just leave us with this final bit. Sometime in the evening, someone would hear the voice of Tilby come through again. Alright, so possibly good news. I've been doing some investigations, and I believe we had a bit of a deal here. I assisted you with my power on the condition you were allowed to assist your friends. And admittedly, I feel you've got a bit of a raw end of this. Heading to Escadar, correct?
Well, yeah, I managed to convince them that that was the right move to do. Although,
So?
honestly, realistically, do want to fuck with Dustlight. Honest there.
Oh, well, great. Then we both have fantastic reasons to be heading out. So this is something that is certainly beyond me. My magic is far from positive and negative energy, necromancy, life and death. I can't do any of that. I
Unfortunate.
spent years studying. Could learn just like a human wizard, I suppose, but that really caught my interest. That said, I found a bit of interesting information about Moonstone Hall, and in particular, an associate of mine who has frequented the area some. I may be able to call in a favor, you could call it. You want your lizard friend back, right?
What is this going to cost me?
So little faith. No way to start a partnership. What have I done to earn your distrust, Selwyn? I've given you nothing but power.
I suppose that is unfair. Outside you, I guess we were intruding, but outside you actually bringing him down initially and weakening him for that final confrontation, which may or may not have led to his eventual real death.
I'll
Anyway,
have you know his magic is much stronger than what you faced. When my gift is withdrawn, it has consequences. Severe ones. And you saw his anger I transferred my power to you. That was well-founded, to be fair. But, no. I can reach out. As long as, well, clearly you're not above accepting the help of a demon.
Not if we'll bring him back. No. I feel like I've already stepped onto the path of damnation. What's a few more steps? That's a bit
Mortals
melodramatic.
overrate this whole process anyway. It's... There's... What is it? In literature... You are what you make of yourself, correct? Do you truly
Sure.
believe anyone's really born good or evil?
Not to the extent that all the text presented us now. I think there's
Exactly.
examples of religious
It is-
text where it's
This
changed.
wisdom is exactly why I came to you. Well, make your way to Escadar then. Bring your friends, bring your circus, bring the lizard. Be in touch. No promises, but we may be able to make this work.
All right. So when are you coming to see the circus?
You just hear a, almost not even hear so much as you just feel a bit of amusement come across your telepathic connection, but no proper response. Well, chats, with the closing of our first chapter here, I don't know if I think that's a solid stopping point. We have a bit of a shorter episode here today.
The lizard man.
Well,
My
next
heart is
week,
breaking.
when we all return to this next Monday, we'll head off into a new chapter, the legacy of the lost god, traveling to Escadar to shit on Dusklight's doorstep and stand up to the Celestial Menagerie.
Literally do that.
Burn
It
the
should-
menagerie down.
It should be a great time, really, for everyone involved. And sad as an ending as it is, you were victorious. You
If only
were
barely.
able to turn the tower back over, purge the trogs, and make some new friends along the way. So, with this new knowledge, with, well, there's a Ferric victory behind you. Everyone
Happy
is
birthday,
now
Hal.
level 5. So, before we meet back together next week, level yourselves up, ascend, and to save us a bit of an inventory episode, word's
You want me
gonna
to
be
just put gold on instead of for what I put on the sheet? For instead of inventory, do you want me to just put trade in the gold that we have on the sheet?
Sure, you can absolutely do that. But also, Reginald is still waiting in town. And as the Circus Wayward Wonders is going to take a day or two in Aberton to prepare to begin their travel. As Reginald learns that the tower has been cleared and is now safe, before you leave, sort of left him a bunch of corpses strewn throughout. And he will bring you back what he feels that you have earned. The spoils of your victory. And when we return next week, not only level 5, perhaps with bitter new things to play with here. This is the first life that I have taken here in 2nd edition. And man, it did not feel good. You have no idea how fucking hard it was to narrate you guys leaving with that fucking music playing and not tear up. I was trying. I was 100% willpower. I was 100% absolute focus. Like, I have to tell the story. I'm the impartial GM. Impartial.
Everybody's energy is just after that. It was
Which is why we're gonna end it here. Thank you, chat, for being here. Thank you, several people for your raids during the show there. Leeson, Evandale, coming over with your friends to unfortunately meet a terribly sad ending to our first chapter, but certainly one that's not too much for us to carry on. We'll see you all next week. Good night, everybody. Especially Lizard Man. Super good night, Lizard Man.
Night, sweet
Tight,
prince.
Sweet Prince.
Oh, kiss, guys.